Hello again, I'm Larry Hamilton. Welcome to my YouTube painting channel. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to do an oil painting, and I hope you like this one. This is a nocturnal scene, a night scene, and it's a nice wintry scene. It's something you might see around the holiday period, and I have a watercolor that I did of it about a year ago, and so I thought I would try to do it in oils today and see how that works. And tell you we're painting on 11 by 14 gray gesso primed canvas. And I have a sketch, I have a photograph that I have from my watercolor sample, and I also need to tell you I'm set up in my new studio today. This is the first time I'm doing an oil painting here, so some of my oil paints have been in storage for a while and they're running all over my glass palette here, so it looks really messy. But I'll see if I can deal with that. Also, I'm in a construction zone here. My new house is in an area where they're building other houses, so you may hear some pounding and some other noises on the side of this on this video, and really can't get those out. I just wanted to go ahead and keep painting and see if we can get another video up for you. So without further ado, let's get going here. I'll zoom in and get the canvas lined up for you so you can see the full sketch here. The sketch is available on my website. There'll be a link here as I post this to show you where to get the sketch from, so you can download that and get ready to paint with me. I'm not going to go over all the brushes. I have a whole stack of brushes here I'm using, some combinations of one I've used before, some Bob Ross brushes, some Dick Blick brushes, but I've got some other new ones that are called Trekel, T-R-E-K-E-L-L, Trekel.com. I'm going to give some of those a try. They're supposedly a very nice blended sable type of brush, and I'll see how those work. I may not use all these. I may not use very many of them, but I got them all available, and I'm not going to go through them with you because it takes too long. I will go through the paints, however, very quickly. It's my same set that I've always used. It's my titanium white sliding all the way down the glass, phthalo blue, Prussian blue, midnight black, Van Dyke brown, dark sienna, alizarin crimson, sap green, cad yellow, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, bright red, and I have some ultramarine blue, violet here from Grumbacher. So with that said, and with everything else running here, I think we're going to get going, and I'll see if I can get this painting underway. We're going to start with, I also have a little liquid white that I have, some Bob Ross color that I help to thin my paint down and to slow the drying time. I also have a little bit of Liquin from Winsor Newton that I put on my paper plate palette here to speed the drying time. It will actually speed it up a little bit. So with that said, I'm just going to start putting in some of the white under painting here for the sky before I put some blue on top of it, dark blue. It's going to be a dark painting, so I don't want to put a whole lot of white in it, but I want to have something that lets the paint go on fairly smoothly. So I'm putting a little bit of this liquid white on here to just sort of give me a painting base, if you will. And I think that's about all I want to do with that. Not too much, using that big 1-inch blender brush from Bob Ross to do that with. So let's get some dark colors here, see if we can get some lavender, some of this blue, really dark night colors, because it is a night scene, so I'm going to make this fairly dark. I want some more lavender in that, or more purple I should say. So the sky is going to be, I'm pick up some alizarin crimson to sort of redden that up a little bit in some spots. We'll sort of bring it down to the back of this house here. And we'll get lighter in the background there. And then we'll start picking up some more of the blue and bring it back to a blue color over this way, and maybe even get some really dark, almost black in there over here in this area. So we have a range of colors, a range of values, but it's predominantly dark, being a night type scene. And that may not be quite dark enough yet. Put a little more dark up here. Get some of that midnight black in there. Put a little. That liquid white comes through. The more you press on it and the more you push, the more you bring that liquid white through, and it lightens it up on you. So you have to kind of work up with that. See if I can get this down to the top of the tree line back there. Okay, I think that may do for now. I'll maybe come back and put some more in there later. I don't know. Let's see how this looks. I like these colors together. Slight horizontal motion here to just sort of blend it together. All right. A few more vertical strokes. Just put some interest in that sky here. Make some, maybe there's some clouds floating around in there that are sort of in shadow, or don't want to make it spooky. We want to make it nice and soft and black and blue over here, black and blue. All right, there we go. I think we've got a good start on the dark night sky. And with that, I'm going to get rid of this big brush and get me a smaller brush and start working on the trees in the background. Start bringing those out. So I'm going to get me a filbert here. I'm going to try one of these, this Treacle number 10 filbert. And we're going to start on the left side over here with some dark, really dark green. Trees are almost in silhouette, but they do have color, so I don't want to make them totally black like they might really look to you if you took a photograph of a scene like this. We don't want them to be black. We want them to have some color. They're way off in the distance. Got blues, got blacks, dark greens. So I'll just mix these up a little bit. Give myself a lot of color back in there. I got some snow that I want to lay under there, and I'm going to put another row of trees in there. So don't make this a straight line. Don't make it domed. Make it go up and down. Make these trees look like they have some. There's a whole lot of trees back there, and leaving room for my foreground tree that's going to stick through there. Make some of them thinner, make some of them wider, and bring it right down to the edge of this house here. Okay, so that'll give me some nice dark trees back there. Okay, and that tree line kind of continues on over here on this side of the house, cabin, or whatever you want to call it. Pick up some blues, purple. I haven't washed this brush. I'm just sort of scumbling it in, pushing it up, give myself some nice top row texture there. Picking up some of that light color of the sky, the white that's under there, which does lighten it up a lot. So let's put in some darker colors here. You notice I have a gray canvas. That's a neutral tone, mid value, so that I know that anything that is darker than that canvas is darker than a mid value 5, and if it's lighter, it's of course lighter. It's a good way to judge your values, and it's very helpful. When I teach my oil painting classes, we have a palette paper that we use, and it's toned with gray, a gray tone. So we have a lot of mid-tone grays that we look at, and it really helps us get our values right. Better anyway. I guess you can always mess up your values, but I want to see if I can put a few trees in here like this. This brush does not give me the same kind of point that I get with some of those, this other bristle brush I use. Many times I use this flat or a filbert from Dick Blick, and I get a whole different texture on the top of those trees. So this sable's a softer brush, and not sable, but it's a mongoose, I should have said. Maybe I said sable earlier. It's actually mongoose. And so that's that. I'll leave this brush and leave it like that. And I'm going to go back and get another brush and start putting in some of this snow that's in the distance. So I'm going to pick up some white. My white's fallen all the way down the bottom of my palette. Hope you can still see it. But I'm going to pick up some dark colors in this, and we're going to put a line of snow back here in the distance. Putting in some of the lavender and blue shades that you would see in the snow back there in the sort of in the twilight. Using my Bob Ross fan brush here. It's not a very big fan, it's a fairly narrow fan, but it does let me put these nice swoops of snow back here. Leaving room for my tree there. I'm going to try to paint around my house. This is the roof of the house. I want to have it darker. I'm going to put some more trees in there anyway, so I don't want to get too much snow in there. More white back here. Just kind of pull it up into those trees a little bit, sort of blend it together. We'll get some nice shadowing going on. Okay, the other side, something similar. Over here, let's start up there and put down some snow with this fan brush. Picking up some little blues, a little bit of that violet. So this snow will kind of reflect a little bit of the sky when the sky has this sort of violet color. Paint right through that tree right now. Come back and paint over it. And I think that a little darker there, maybe on this side, if I can get some darker paint in there. Yeah, there, that's a little more nocturnal. Coming down this way. Side of this house, we get Okay, let's take a break, step back, look at it from a distance. You see the little gaps where I'm going to have the trees. I'm going to have a tree that goes through here, I got a tree that goes there, and I got another tree that goes there. So I'm leaving some little gaps there to do that with. Being as dark as it is out there, it's going to be hard to see this. Almost too blue. I put that phthalo blue, which just eats your colors alive. It will just dominate everything if you're not careful. So let's mix it up a little bit, put some little bits of white in there and see if we can keep it from being so dominant. This comes down to here and it starts getting whiter. We're going to start picking up some of this yellow. This cabin has lights on inside, so they're just glowing out into the snow around them. So behind it, it's fairly dark, and we want to try to reflect that if we can. Okay, so we got snow. We got piles of snow back here in the dark. Pull some of this down. All right. Now we're going to put another row of trees. Come back to my filbert brush here. My treacle filbert. And see if we can put another line of trees in here with some sap green and a little bit of this ultraviolet. Get a dark in here that's Then I have a couple of big trees that I want to highlight here, so I've got to put those in with my fan brush a little later. These trees are kind of in the distance, so let's keep them back there. Okay, something like this. Okay, and maybe just a few little spots of some trees over here. These really weren't in my original, but I have a lot of space over here with not too much going on, so I'm going to just put in a few little things that look like some trees back there. All right, stop with that for a little bit. Pick up my other brush here. All right, let's put some more snow in back here. Let's gray that down a little bit. Graying it down with some midnight black. Okay, it's going to start getting yellow there before long. I want to trees are running together. It's going to pick up some yellows in there. All right, let's see if we've got enough. I also have a creek in here with a bridge and a house and three big trees that cover the whole length of the canvas, top height of the canvas. And so I'm going to come back now and keep this fan brush going. I'm going to get me some blues and some of this purple and see if I can put in this little tree that goes in here. This is the old Bob Ross technique with the fan brush, where you stamp it in like this and then just sort of work your way down and start getting wider and wider down here, sort of stippling it in like that. It has to be darker than what's behind it or you're not going to see it. So let's put some heavy paint on there. So we're getting a nice big old tree coming down here. It's going to have some snow on it too. I'll come back and put some snow on it later. But let's put in these branches as they come down here like this. And it sort of connects with this tree next to it. There's a tree that's sort of behind it a little bit that's maybe a little grayer. So we'll put him in there. This little tree right here. Little fan brushes are nice for this type of thing. I don't use them for everything, but certainly every brush, every tool has a use. And if you can use them for the right thing, you can get some very neat painting effects. Put a little green in there. I don't want that to be totally without some greenery. So we'll pop them in like this. Come back and get some of this darker blue. All right, so they're going to sort of just fade into the snow here at the bottom. Put something that looks like a trunk through there. Get some more shadows down here like that. All right. That top needs to have just a little more definition. All right, so now you're seeing a landscape, getting a little depth in the landscape because I'm putting those larger trees in the foreground, and that's what does it. Okay, touch a little of this while I got this going. I'm going to put a few more dark things over here, sort of tie this together with some bushes and some little trees and things going on over here. Okay, now, all right, that's the blues. We still have some more blues and some rocks and stuff going on down here, but I'm going to leave that for a little later. I want to come back and now start putting in some of this snow. I got a lot of snow that's around these trees, and so let's see how we can do that. I'm going to get this paint out of this fan brush. And see if we can start putting in now is where we start using our cad yellow and some white and some of these other yellows. And so coming out of this house, we've got this really bright looking light that's just emanating from this house. And it's really lighting up the snow. So the snow is taking on this color of the lights coming out of this house, cabin. That's changing the color palette on you, isn't it? And it sort of tapers off. There's a little path that goes around here. This kind of tapers into some other colors here. It starts getting a little more lavender back in here. As it turns out of the light, you get less and less. Wow, that's throwing some color in there. Okay. It's kind of hard for you to tell what it is without the cabin being defined for you yet, but let's see. I may have way too much yellow in there, so I'll just throw some white on top of it. We'll blend it together. This is coming down on the top of the rocks that go by this little creek down here. And that may be a little too light, I don't know, but we'll see how it looks as I feather this together. And we don't want to forget we have some light that's kind of peeking through over here. Some of these yellows are kind of lighting up this area back here. A few spots are getting through. Pick up some dark to pull in a shadow or two to make it highlight this even more. There we go. This represents a hill that's going down to the creek here, and you have to make sure you give it some value change or you will lose the illusion that that's a hill. All right, that's that one. Let's see here. Maybe it's time to tackle this house. Well, before I do that, let's go put a little more over here. We're starting to get a little bit of yellow shining from the back side over here too. Not nearly as strong as we got on the front side, but picking up some ochre in here. White for the bottom of this house, around here, around the cabin. Needs a little bit of color in it because it is actually reflecting out that way as well. Pull these colors together. Definitely a different set of colors for a snow painting. All right, step back, look at it. You have to get away. You have to step back from these and see what it looks like from a distance. Otherwise you get too involved with what's going on up close and you lose the large perspective of what's going on in the distance. That's a little too dark there. Lighten it up. A lot of snow here, a lot of got a bridge there I want to put in, a road in there. It's a road that comes down, something like that. Okay. See how we're making out. Need a little more white paint, I'm pretty sure, but I'll wait for a few minutes. All right, let's see here. I think it's time to maybe start tackling this house. I'm going to pick up my, actually I'm going to pick up my watercolor brush, my Golden Taklon watercolor brush, and see if I can't start putting in the snow on this house here, and see if we can make this stand out now. This house has a snow on the roof, and it's got this Taklon brush. I like it because I can get a very, very sharp edge. I don't know if you can see that very well on camera, but it gives me a very sharp edge, which is very difficult to get with most oil painting brushes. The bristles just don't allow a very sharp edge. So when I want a sharp edge, I use a brush that gives me a sharp edge. Doesn't matter that it's a watercolor brush. It's a nylon brush, and the solvents won't destroy the bristles like they would if this were a sable, for example. So I'm just painting right now the roof of this house with pretty much pure white. I don't have hardly any color in it. Put a little color there maybe, but it should have a little bit of a brownish color or reddish color, or maybe even a little thicker paint here. We do have a chimney setting up here that I think I'm going to come back and get it. So I've got snow hanging down over the edge of this building. Myself a little pile of snow on the edges here and in the corners. All right, now I think I'm going to pick up a much smaller brush. I have a number 2 treacle, and see what I can do with putting in some of the wood of this cabin around the under here. Just using dark sienna with a little bit of white in it, but it's basically sort of the edge of this. And here I got a little, comes down like that. You're starting to see the cabin emerge now. Over here we have a little bit of a dark area. And there's some other defining boards and so forth in here. Up above, there's a little dormer setting up here that has some definition. Like that. There's a, it comes down like this. Have a little snow on top of that. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to put a few little marks like this. We have this road that comes around like this. I actually painted over that road too much already with my other colors, so I'm going to pick that up and see if I can pull it out of there. This road comes back like this. Rough it in. I can come back and refine it with some other paint here in a minute, but let's just kind of get it blocked in here. It goes back to this bridge right here. Goes across that bridge and comes out on the other side over here. So, starting to get a little movement there. That looks like we've got a circular path or a curved path coming back from the house back here. It goes all the way back this way. It's wider as it comes here and it gets narrower again. Yeah, something like that. So let's all right. I don't know if that road goes beyond this tree or not, but let's put it like that. And we've got a big old tree that's going to go in right here, a big tree that's going in right here, another one here. So as I've told you, I'm trying to leave room for that so I don't end up with too big a mess. Let's see if we can start getting some color on this lodge or this cabin here. We're going to pull in some color that looks like it's maybe a log cabin type of color. Put some value change in it so that it's not all one color, or one value, I should say. Paints have a lot of oil that's come to the surface because they've been setting for so long. I think I've had them in my packed away for about 3 months, so they definitely have a lot more oil coming out of them than they would if I'd have been using them regularly every day, every other day. So I'm just sort of painting the front of this cabin, putting in some color variation to give it some texture, making it look like we have a set of doors. These are windows. I'm leaving room for these windows so that light can shine out, and that's really what I want to show you when I put that bright yellow in there again. That's what's making all this stuff light up. It's the fact that we've got those windows with a lot of light shining out of them. Okay, yellow there. This type of, this roof up here, I think I'm going to put this little dormer in if I can. See if I can get some color in my brush to sort of highlight it. Little roof here that's sort of sticking out like that. Helps tell the story, what that is. Put just a little dark down here like that. All right, so that's pretty close. A little brush helps. A little brush sometimes takes a lot more time, but it also gives you some nice effects. This chimney up here, I want to put some side on it. You're not going to be able to see that. Why do I know that? Because it's the same value. You can't tell the difference. There's a little difference in value. All right, and let's just kind of carry some of that violet down here. Make your brush strokes go the same way as the surface you're painting. If the roof is sloped this way, try to make your brush strokes go that way if you can. If you remember to do it. Put a little snow on top of this chimney up here, maybe like that. There we go. Make some interesting shapes on this roof. Okay, I think that's looking like a little cabin with a dormer sticking out over it. What you don't see yet is all that light coming out. So now's the time to start popping in. Using my same little brush, I'm going to come back with this cad yellow with some white in it and see if I can get a nice bright pop of yellow, bright yellow light coming out of these little windows here. We got these windows here that I want to light up, like right there. Wipe it out. Don't, if it picks up paint off of the canvas, clear it out of your brush. Okay. Something like that, something like this. Over here on the other side, we got some bright light coming out. On the other side of this tree, I'm going to show that window coming around behind that tree. Okay, and sort of blend some of this in back here with this ochre and other colors. Put another layer on here. Use more paint. I've been trying to force myself to use more paint. That's one of the things I have been learning as I still continue to study, that it's always a good idea to watch other videos and watch other painters and study with other painters to see what you can do to improve. So that's what I try to do. These little windows at the top don't really have a lot of light coming out of them, but you want to see them. They need to be lighter than, either lighter or darker. Maybe I'll make them darker. Probably a better idea. Yeah, there you go. Something up there. Then this window here, let's put a little divider in it, like that. Just make some variations in these things so they're not just all rectangular. Okay, now I need to echo that color. That color is not exactly echoed on the ground. Like right in here, I want to see if I can lighten that up with some white. Get that color again. Over here, maybe a little more, even some back here. Okay, folks, there we go. Let's see if we can stop with that. A lot of detail in there. All right, we're making progress here. Good progress, I might say. Some more paper towel, get another clean brush. Let me get my treacle out. I want to put in some more of this snow that's in this area now. We got snow that's coming down here. That's sort of on this side of the road, between the road and the bridge. Okay. See if I can blend that just a little more, maybe. All right. Maybe it's time to put those big old trees in here now. See if I have a wide enough brush. This brush is plenty wide enough. Probably could use my palette knife, but I'm gonna take this brush and give myself a big load of paint. Got black and Van Dyke brown together here, really dark. Start at, let's see, start at the bottom. We're going to go all the way from the bottom up, so let's something like that for one tree. Take them right out of the page, right out of the top of the canvas, I should say. Got another tree here that's, I'm going to change the color slightly and make it a little more reddish with the dark sienna. More paint, a lot more paint. Okay, this is a test to see how brave you are, just painting right over these things. Got a third tree over here. Got a lot more paint, Start him this way and picked up paint, pulled it out, and I pulled my brush. It's going to be the bigger one, the fatter one, I guess. All right, how are we doing? Now that's putting a real depth in there. Now you can see how the putting big trees in front make it give a lot more depth. I'm going to put a few little glitches here that make it look like this tree had a branch or something knocked off of it. Don't want it to be too straight. All right, now I wonder if I can put a little bit of this lighter color on this left side that's toward the picking up light from the cabin. Just brush in just a little bit. Highlight one side if you can. Darken the other side if you can. All right, I'll leave those for now. Let's come back and put a little tension to this bridge here. See if I can get that thing in. Like right here, I want this side to be. Bring in some blue, this the phthalo blue, and some brown. Like that. Maybe even throw in some lighter color here in some spots. Pick up some red, maybe get a little of this alizarin in there. More blue. Left a little gap there because I'm going to put some snow on there. All right. I can pull this road together now. Maybe we can pull this in. More colors in this road. Make sure it looks like a road. All right. A lot of objects in this painting. The more objects you have, the longer it's going to take you to paint it. So I've got trees, background trees, foreground trees, cabin with snow all over the place, bridge, and now I got this water and creek in front here that I need to finish up. But let's go back and see what I can do with putting in some snow, dirty snow here maybe. Looks a little dirty. All kinds of color of snow, everything but white. Put in some white right here. Got some snow here that should be white. Some blue on my fingers now. I think I'm going to need a little more white paint possibly. See if I can get some out of here. All right. me some clean paper towel and grab my fan brush and see what I can do now with this creek. I think I'm going to put some liquid white down there on this creek because I want it to blend and blur, and so I'm going to kind of cover this with some liquid white in here. It will let it blend together nicely. Try to keep from getting into the brown of that tree, if possible. All right, now, ooh, flip that all the way over. Okay, we got snow in a creek here we gotta finish up, and we could just pretend that creek is snow covered. Doesn't look much like a creek, however. So we're gonna put in some of the colors we have in the trees around here. We're gonna pull down some vertical things to make it look like we got something dark going on in this water. Goes all the way back under here. Picked up some of that brown. Well, that looks like a mess, doesn't it? Well, you know what happens when we get a mess, we have to fix it. Take my flat blender brush and see what I can do with just pulling some nice things like this. That's looking like water. All right, that makes it look more like water. Over here, we're going to come back and pick up some more white for the snowbank here. This area, more snow. All right, we got all kinds of colors of snow in here, from white to yellow to, put a few more white parts back here, maybe in some back here. Actually lightening this up a little bit more than I intended to, but let's see what we can do around the bottom of these trees. We want to make these trees connect. Just a spot of yellow or so in here somewhere to kind of reflect the colors that are up there. Give us a little more harmony maybe in the painting by doing that. Put me some piles of snow up in here like this. There we go. Snow piles here and there. Didn't put any snow on that bridge yet, but and I've got some snow I can put on these rocks back over here. Giving ourselves a bit of a different look. we've got snow and rocks in here. Dirty it up a little bit. So I've only used about 3 brushes here. I've used this fan brush, I've used my watercolor brush, I've used a filbert from Treacle, a smaller filbert from Treacle. Alright, there's that. Let's see if I can put a little more snow on top of this guy over here. Need a little snow in the back one here. Okay, what else do we need to do here? I can spend some time on those trees. I think I'll put a few more branches, maybe pull out a couple of branches on those trees just to make it look like there's maybe I want a branch, maybe I just want a stub up here like this. It sort of breaks the eye, so it's not a fast, you don't want your eye moving down any linear object too fast. So let's do that. Now I could be using the palette knife and putting big globs of paint on here if I wanted to do that. These always usually have something going on here that makes them this one over here has got, he may have a big branch sticking up there on him that all the branches and stuff for these trees are way up above. They're off of the canvas, so to reflect it more accurately, you have to sort of do it this way. So I'm just sort of making some little changes here to make these trees, I don't want them to look identical, so let's put a little something there like that. All right, that tree on the right should have a little bit of reflections coming off of the house, the highlight side. Over here should have a few highlights in some spots. Okay, so stand back and look at it. Got good depth. Got pretty good eye movement. This is probably too light down here on this area. I think I'm going to come back and put in just a little something to close this corner in more to make it less bright. I want your eye to focus here, so the brighter it is here, the more you're going to look around here. I want you to look in this area. So let's see if we can darken this little corner down a little bit down here with some more reflections. Yeah, there we go. See how that does? All of a sudden I'm taking your eye away from that. There. I think this right corner I'm going to even put a little bit of something over here too to sort of close it in just a little. Now, I don't want to leave it like that. I want to blend it out, take that big old brush and clean it out, wipe everything out of it, and then just sort of give the old very light, wipe it out, go back and hit it again, wipe it out, hit it again. So now I have just sort of darkened this corner considerably more. I don't have any reflections of the couple trees. I could do a little of that if I felt it necessary. Maybe I'll put just a little bit of a dark reflection in this tree here. This guy's going to come like that, so he's going to go something like that. Not too obvious. These other trees are probably going to even reflect more in here like this. Darken them down a little bit more. That'll give me a little more reason to close this in some more. All right, something like that. Under this bridge, there should be probably a little bit of a shadow in here, some sort of a shadow to make it look a little more realistic. Okay, take our big old brush. See if I can blend this out a little bit like that, or wipe it. And then come back and clean the brush and hit this little guy a little bit to make it there. All right. What more can I do to this thing? I think I'm about done. I should have this going more the way the land flows, I guess. All right, maybe just a few more spots of snow here and there. I'll put a few more things that look like, get some, in this foreground we can have a little bit of detail maybe. Got all the canvases covered. I covered up here. Up here I put a few more streaks of snow. Show this is land's coming down this way more. Okay, over there. One thing I forgot was my little chimney with smoke coming out of it. Got a little smoke coming out of that chimney there. Get some white and just sort of give me a little something like that. While we're at it, we can just sort of dot some snow in here. I think when I did the watercolor painting, I just took some very light, real watery paint and just sort of threw it on. I splattered it actually with watercolor. Well, we had some, actually I had some snow that I didn't put on these branches back here. I wanted to put some little dabs of snow here and some spots where the snow was hanging on. In some places. So let's see if we can dot some snow in here in some other places. These are pretty big dots of snow. How about if I get a smaller brush yet? I have a very small brush here. It's Treacle number 0. Get some really thinner on it. Get a sharp point if I can. Just sort of dab some spots of snow in here. Big dots, too big. You may not want to do this on your painting. I'm second guessing why I did it here, but I tried to imitate what I saw with the other one I did, and I had some snow coming down, so do that. I don't know what that looks like from the camera, but it looks like it's maybe snow just starting, maybe. We'll throw some more spots in here. Actually had some rocks out in this water that I forgot to put in. Get carried away with this, it'll look too, start looking stupid. But let's see, let me see if I can bring in just a little rock here. Maybe there's a couple of rocks laying out here in this water. There was one there, and there was another one over here. All right, then I got my little bitty brush. Let's come back and see if I can drop a little snow on these guys here, like that. I have white. So I took your eye away. See, when I look over here, I see that. When I look here, I see that. That tells me that's too bright. I don't want to leave that there. It's taking the eye away from the focal point. So even though it might have been there in the picture, might have been there in the photograph or whatever, don't leave it that way. It's too bright. So as long as the eye comes in here and focuses around this area, that's what you really want. Trying to do just a little more here. It's too straight of a line there. I want to pull that over there. Okay. I think I'm going to have to stop before I make it worse. All right, I think that is going to do me for this painting. I'll zoom back and I'll say thank you for watching. I hope you give this painting a try. Check the sketch out on my website and leave me some comments and ask me some questions. I'll try to answer them if I can, and I hope you enjoy this painting. I hope you have some happy holidays this year, and until I see you again, this is Larry Hamilton saying so long for now. Goodbye.